Hey everybody, it's me Amanda with Once in a Wild and welcome to our program. It's Wednesday, so happy Wednesday to everyone. We appreciate all of our followers for chiming in and tuning in today as always. So thank you so very much for joining us. If this is your first time joining us, hello, my name is Amanda and our company is called Once in a Wild. Once in a Wild is a mobile zoo and we typically bring the zoo to you. But due to circumstances in these trying times, we have moved to a virtual zoo as well. We also do in-person programs too. We just have to take precautions, of course, but we have moved to virtual programs too, including this program right now that you're watching right this very moment. We do our live streams every Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, both streaming on Facebook and YouTube. If you have not already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go over to YouTube today and do that. Hit subscribe at Once in a Wild is our YouTube channel, of course. Most of our handles are Once in a Wild. On Instagram, we are Once in a Wild Zoo. So that is the different one. And I believe on TikTok, we're also Once in a Wild Zoo as well. So those are the two strange ones, but all the rest of them are Once in a Wild. So you can find all those links at our website as well, which is onceinAwild.com. Now, as always, our live streams are free of charge every single week here on Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. So thank you for joining us here today. And thank you for watching. It is free. But we do have tipping options as well as donation options. And those options are as follows. Number one is to our Amazon wish list. So the other day it was Amazon Prime Day. So we reminded everybody on our social media that we have that capability for you guys to donate to our Amazon wish list, which is really fun. You can basically give us a gift on that wish list that we've already chosen for the animals, all those items, and then you can ship them straight to us, which is really, really awesome and really convenient. Everybody uses Amazon nowadays, so we thought that we would go ahead and make a wish list for the animals as well. So they're using Amazon too. What a time to be alive. So you can find that Amazon wish list over at onceinAwild.com, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom and you'll see that button which says donate to our Amazon wish list. Hello, Anna, and hello, Emma and Liam. It's so nice to see you guys. Hello, and it's so nice to see Samantha. Hello, Samantha. We love seeing your face as usual. And if anybody else has any comments or questions, please feel free to chime in with any of those comments and questions today. We are talking about a really fun topic today, which we'll get to in just a moment. But if you guys have any questions about anything about animals, or you just want to ask me anything at all, please let me know and I will try to highlight your question or comment, and then we will discuss that here on the live stream, which is always a lot of fun. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Another way you can donate and tip to us is via Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal as well. So down below, you'll see that beautiful graphic down below. There are all the things. You can see it down below me. We also have them always in the description down below. You'll see our phone number. You see our website, which is onceinAwild.com, and then our tipping options, which are Venmo at Once in a Wild, Cash App, $ Once in a Wild, and we also do have PayPal, which is at Once in a Wild as well. All those links are in the description, so please feel free to click those if you are interested in donating or tipping to us today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm really excited to see you guys. I feel like it's been forever. Been another slow week, unfortunately, so it's nice to see you guys. Be looking out for some fun collaborations coming up very, very soon. We're really excited to collaborate with some fun people coming up soon and some fun companies. So please stay tuned and we will be announcing those as they happen. And we're working on a lot of things with our company lately. And please stay tuned and keep following us on social media as well as YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. That's one of our newest endeavors. So that helps us out a lot if you just subscribe. And if you like the video as well, you can go ahead and click like and share the videos on Facebook or YouTube or wherever they may be with all your friends and family who love animals. So let's go ahead and get started. Hooray! Now, before we get started with our topic at hand, we are going to discuss our Zoom Room animal encounters. Zoom Rooms are custom versions of the program that you're seeing today. So this is the program that we basically organize every single week right now on Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Be looking out for some more time popping up here and there, maybe some collaborations. Like I said, we are trying to stream over on Instagram every now and then too. So whenever I have a chance, I stream over there as well if I have something fun to talk about. But like I was saying, we have our Zoom Rooms, which are custom and private encounters, which you guys can have via Zoom. You can pick the animals that come into the program, and so you get to pick all the animals that you get to see out of all of our choices. We have about 70 animal ambassadors that come out to programs, so you never know what you might see on a program on a live stream. But if you decide to book a Zoom room with us, it's really fun. You can actually look at the list of animals and select the animals for your Zoom room. They can be the duration of your choice, starting at 30 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes, or even 2 hours if you so desire. I'm more than happy to do that for you, or even more if you want. Sky's the limit on that duration, but most people choose a 30-minute or an hour program. I've had a few hour-and-a-half programs, and I think just one 2-hour program, which went really well too. And don't you worry, I can fill up all of that time. As you guys know that have watched me over and over again, I never stop talking. So that being said, you get to choose the animals, the duration, and you get to invite your family and friends to join in. I get to see your beautiful faces on the screen as well, which is really, really fun. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, let me go ahead and play a commercial for that Zoom room animal encounter. That is something that we're offering virtually, like I said, and kind of in the place of our in-person animal encounters with the times that are happening. And what's so nice about the virtual animal encounters too, not just the live streams, but the Zoom rooms, is we can also outreach to anyone all over the world. In fact, we have gone international, which was really, really cool. Let's go ahead and watch that really fast. Shall we? Yes, we shall.
Stuck in the house with nothing to do? Did your students miss their fun field trip that was planned for them? Are you looking for a fun team building activity for your employees that are stuck in the house with the same old Zoom meetings from day in and day out? Was your child's birthday party canceled this year because you're stuck in quarantine? Well, then we got the solution for you. Our Zoom room animal encounters are a great solution for you. In Zoom room virtual animal encounters, you can bring the zoo to you, but from the safety of your own home. They are fully customizable, and you can invite all your friends to join in and meet all the animals. They are fun, unique, and very interactive. It's also a great learning opportunity. And most of all, it's very, very simple. Just contact us to book your appointment and schedule your Zoom room. Then select the animals you would like to attend in your Zoom room animal encounter, and then send the link to all of your friends and family who are invited to the Zoom room that we provide to your email. And best of all, you can bring the animals to anyone, anywhere, all over the world. So visit us at onceinawhile.com or call us today. We can't wait to see you.
Hooray! I hope you guys are interested in a Zoom room. Those of you that haven't booked a Zoom room before, please go ahead and do that. I recommend them highly. They've been a lot of fun. And if I do say so myself, and yes, it's been a big positive feedback on that. So please book your Zoom room today. So just let me know. My number's down below, or you can contact us at onceinawhile.com for the rest of our contact information. So today we're actually talking about a very specific topic, aren't we? Those of you that have been following us on social media, you probably already know what the topic at hand is. We try to pick a topic every week, and if not, I just bring some animals out and we learn about them. Today we have 3 animal ambassadors, so let's go ahead and meet one of them right now. He's in my lap. It is Iggy today. Iggy the guinea pig. Isn't he just adorable? He is so cute, if I do say so myself. So Iggy, why don't you hang out right there? You're just going to be super handsome and just be yourself. Don't worry, everybody loves you. I'm going to give him some snacks because he loves his snacks. Hey, come back. Nobody can see you. Come back over here. Can you turn around for me? Come here. How about you have some snacks? That would be very, very good. Yes, eat your snacks. So guinea pigs are very, very good pets, by the way. And today we're talking about how pets are not toys. Now, please don't get me wrong. I am very, 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 very much pro-pet. I am not anti-pet. I think pets are wonderful, and they're a wonderful addition to the family, right? But they are certainly not toys, and they're not to be taken lightly. Pets are living creatures, and they deserve all the best care and love, and they deserve to be a family member for your family, right? A lot of people are under the assumption that a pet might be just for a child. I don't think that that is a good idea. So that is something that we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to be talking about several reasons and factors on why I feel like that. So please bear with me as we talk about all of this. But just a little bit about guinea pigs. Guinea pigs are rodents, and they are actually a South American species. Originally, they came from the sorry, not the Patagonian cavy. That's a different rodent. But they are from the wild cavy, which is no longer in existence anymore. It's an extinct species, but there are other cavy species, which are other rodents in South America, which are very, very similar to this one. Now, you might be thinking, now, this is a strange wild animal to be running around in South America. Yes. So guinea pigs in the care of humans have been developed into many, many different breeds. And he's a Peruvian guinea pig. Guinea pigs in the wild look much, much different than this. They have short fur, more upright ears, longer legs, not as luxurious hair as he's demonstrating right now. He's so pretty. This is a Peruvian guinea pig, which is just a type of breed which has long hair. You have to give them a lot of grooming and a lot of brushing, as you might imagine. He looks like a great big wig up here. But yes, pets are not toys, are they? So we're going to talk about that. Like I said, rodents, these guys are one of my favorite rodents to recommend for a pet for your family. I will not say pets for kids, although they are good with kids. I wouldn't necessarily suggest purchasing a pet just for a child, especially a young child. Now, I'm not definitely against you know, an older child having their own pet, if you would. But I think any kind of pet or animal companion should be kind of for the whole family. So we don't want to necessarily like even buy a dog just for a child. You want to have a dog that gets along with your whole family and the whole family is involved, because dogs are social and they're pack animals. So they definitely appreciate the whole family being involved in their care. And it's not right to just buy a pet for a child like on impulse, as a gift, things like that, without a lot of research. You want to do your research and make sure you know what you're doing. Guinea pigs are great pets, but they do require a lot of care. They're one of the messiest animals I actually have. I would probably say that Iggy and his 3 other guinea pig friends are probably the messiest and highest maintenance animal that I have here in my collection. And you might be thinking, what? A domestic species being the most high maintenance? Yep. They're very specialized. They do need a lot of food. They have to eat hay every single day, and constant hay. And they also get vegetables. As you can see, they are vegetarians and herbivores. And they also have to get a specialized pellet, which has vitamin C in it. It's specialized for guinea pigs, and it's a high quality pellet. You can't just feed them whatever pellet. You have to feed them special guinea pig pellet with vitamin C, and they can't get too much or else they can get chunky. So we have to make sure and feed them right, take care of them. They're always going to the bathroom. They're not really able to be potty trained per se. So there's a lot to clean up. Twice a day is how much I clean up after my 4 guinea pig boars, which are males. I have all males. And guinea pigs are also very social, so you can't really keep them alone. There are a few guinea pigs that don't get along with other guinea pigs, but the recommendation is still to have another guinea pig or a few guinea pigs near them. That way they can talk to each other, even like through the caging and things. They also require quite a bit of room. We'll talk about that here in a minute, but on some of the things that people kind of often make mistakes on with pets in general. But guinea pigs need a lot more room than what is typically like available at a pet store, like cage wise and things like that. Guinea pigs need a lot of room to run around. They're only asleep for 4 to 5 hours every single day, and otherwise they're up kind of running around, scurrying around, eating. Of course, they love to eat, as you can see. And they require lots of room, especially if you have multiples, which you should have multiples. So they are a lot more high maintenance than people expect, because they're a pretty common pet. Now, they're a great pet. Most guinea pigs are very sweet, and most guinea pigs do not bite. Not all guinea pigs are like that. Some guinea pigs can and will bite. Some guinea pigs are a little bit more skittish than others, so it just kind of depends on your individual that you have. Iggy is excellent. He is a very friendly and sweet guinea pig and really, really likes human interaction and things like that. But it really kind of depends. So if you are looking for a guinea pig per se, or, you know, for example, if you're looking for a pet guinea pig, I would recommend an adult guinea pig that already needs a home. Number one, you're going to be able to see that personality that they have. Sometimes you get a baby guinea pig and then they may turn into a different personality. It's kind of like when you get a cat. I always recommend, if you're getting a cat as well, to adopt first before shopping for a kitten. You want to see if there's any animals in your area that need homes. That happens a lot with guinea pigs as well. Right here in San Antonio, Texas, we have a guinea pig rescue organization, which actually does provide a lot of guinea pigs that need homes. And our next guinea pig will probably definitely, if we you know, in the future need more guinea pigs for any reason, I would imagine we're probably going to go through that organization. But Iggy here was actually a hand-me-down guinea pig from another family, and I can't imagine why they didn't want him anymore, because he's just an angel and the best guinea pig in the whole wide world. So we're really happy to have him. But my point is that a lot of guinea pigs need homes, and I recommend trying to adopt first for any pet that you may be wanting to get. And guinea pigs, a lot of times they will change their personality, like I said. So if you get an adult, you're already going to know what kind of personality they have. And if you're wanting a super friendly guinea pig like Iggy, you can meet an adult one or even go through a rescue organization, and they can tell you what kind of personality they have and if they're right for your family. Yes. And a lot of times they actually have guinea pigs that are already bonded and paired up, or a little trio of guinea pigs if you want more. And you always want to have little groups of them, but you don't want to be breeding, right? So we want to make sure that they're all the same gender as well. So I have all boys here at Once in a Wild, and we have 4 of them. They're so cute. And we have different breeds of them as well. So you can see different ones here at Once in a Wild. Yes, he is so cute and so snuggly. He is the best. All right, so guinea pigs are great pets, but again, lots of care and everything else. So let's get started talking about how pets are not toys. So pets are not toys. A lot of pets are bought on impulse, which is never really a good thing to impulse buy anything, right? We want to be responsible with all of our purchases, including especially with live animals like Iggy. But we want to, even if you're going to get a car, you want to do your research on what kind of car you want. If you're going to get a house, you want to do some research on what kind of house and what you can afford and this and that. So there's a lot of research to be done, especially with living animals. And again, I'm not anti-pet. I am definitely pro-pet. I'm just not pro-pet for every single person, and definitely not for small children. If you are interested in a pet for small children that is good with small children, you want to make sure and bring the pet into the family first, and make sure the adults are also involved with their care, because small children really aren't capable of caring for animals, you know, while they're still very young like that. Once they get a little older, like 12-ish, maybe even 10-ish, depending on your child and how mature they are, right? All kids are different, just like all animals are different. It's going to depend on your situation. So of course, every situation is different, and some pets that may not be good for one family might be excellent for another family. So it really all just kind of depends. I want to make sure he's in view. Sorry, buddy. I want to make sure he's in view for you guys while we talk. Okay, so once again, pets are not toys. Let's talk about mammals. We're going to talk about mammals first. Iggy's a mammal, right? So mammals have hair, they're warm-blooded, they give milk to their young, and a lot of mammals can be pets. So a lot of people want to buy things like rodents, so like hamsters and things. Let's get rid of this too. You can see Iggy. So a lot of humans, a lot of parents, and a lot of kids want a pet hamster or gerbil or mouse or etc. There's a lot of rodent choices. Guinea pigs are also rodents too. Rabbits are not rodents, they're lagomorphs. It's a different kind of animal. We'll talk about them here in a little bit. But when we talk about, like, oh my gosh, y'all, he is grooming his little self. You have to see it. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. So guinea pigs need baths and lots of brushing. You know what? Let me share this with you first before we get started. Oh my gosh. You guys are going to love this. This was after he had a bath one of those days in the past, and he was drying off. So let's watch that really fast. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. How adorable is Iggy? So you do have to bathe these guys at least a couple times, maybe 3 times a month. They get a little greasy and grimy and oily, just like humans. They don't need baths nearly as often as humans, but they do need a bath. And I usually give him a little blow dry so he dries off. But this was kind of after the bath. This was after the bath, during the towel dry, but before the blow dry. So he was kind of taking it into initiative on his own to dry his little face. He is so cute. Rodents a lot of times will groom themselves, but since he's got such long hair and he's a domestic species of rodent, he does need some help from time to time. One more time, because he's so cute. Don't you guys love him? Iggy's the best guinea pig in the world, in my opinion. Are you not going to eat this part? Please eat that. Thank you. And he does not seem to mind his bath at all. He likes the blow dry part the best, I think. I think it's nice and warm. And he likes it. Okay, let's get rid of this and let's go back to the topic at hand. I keep getting distracted. Let's see here. So, if your child is begging you for a pet rodent like a hamster, a lot of times you'll go to the pet store and see all kinds of crazy enclosures that the pet store might tell you is appropriate for a hamster or a mouse or a gerbil, etc. There are many different rodent options, right, for you. Let's see what you guys are saying. Okay, you guys are good. Okay, so isn't this the craziest cage you ever seen? Yep, this is not just a dinosaur. Where are you going? This is not just a dinosaur. This is actually advertised as a all living things, tiny tails, extra large dinosaur cage with Activity Center, and it is $130. If you guys want to spend $130 for this piece of junk, please just use it as a toy for your child and maybe just get this instead of a pet, right? So we don't want to be promoting pets as toys. That's this whole point of this talk. Pets are not toys, they are living animals, and they need a lot more room than this dinosaur provides. So this dinosaur is advertised as extra large, but can you see my cursor here? The belly of the dinosaur is actually where the animal would mostly live. So this belly of the dinosaur would be like their main habitat. And then there's like this strange little spiral staircase thing going up the dinosaur's neck. And then I guess a little like kind of lookout area for this animal to look out and then go back downstairs. I don't know what the point of that is. And then I think there's like tunnels in the legs of the dinosaur and maybe a tunnel in the tail. But your main living space is very small. Even a mouse, a tiny mouse, is going to need much more room than this to be happy and healthy and living a good life. You want to provide your animals the most room that you can, not the smallest room and the smallest enclosure that you can, right? I'm gonna make this smaller so you can see us. Oh my gosh, come back over here. Where are you? There you are. So no, that's not enough room whatsoever. And most guinea pig cages, for that matter, are very, very small at pet store. Not this small. This small, it's over here, Amanda, as this dinosaur thing. But this is just a really, really extreme example of what you can sometimes see in pet stores. And by the way, all the things that I'm going to be showing you today are actual real life products that are sold for animal care. Not great. So I just want to warn you guys, and so you can tell all your family and friends, and I'm telling all my followers right now, right? This is not appropriate for an animal to live in. Also, can you imagine cleaning out this cage? Have you ever seen rodents? Have you ever been around rodents? Have you ever dealt with any rodents of any kind? I know most of us have probably had a pet hamster, gerbil, or mouse in our lifetime, or maybe a class pet of all of those, or even like a rabbit or a guinea pig. Rabbits are not rodents, but they're similar in their care, right? All those animals poop and pee a lot. Can you imagine cleaning this silly dinosaur thing when they go to the bathroom? Like, how is a child supposed to clean this out? How is an adult supposed to clean this out? I actually watched a really, really funny YouTube video about this specific enclosure, this dinosaur, because it just came out not too long ago, which I find hilarious. Like, haven't we learned better by now? I guess not. And I guess that's why I have a job. I need to teach you guys and everyone, not just you guys. I know most of y'all know better. Not my followers, right? But some people out there may need to know. So this is great content for that, right? But the reason that I have a job is to teach everybody about not just animals and why we love them, animal conservation, but also animal care. Because let's face it, a lot of people buy pets and a lot of people get animals for their children or themselves, and they don't know how to take care of them. And you might go to a pet store and the pet store experts are going to tell you certain things that are not true. So I want to make sure that you guys know better. And can you see the rating on this thing? 1 whole star, guys. 1 whole star. If there were 0 stars, I'm sure this would have a 0-star rating, because what I've heard, according to that YouTube video and some other people talking about this silly thing, is that they advertise it as extra large. Not only is the living space extremely tiny, but also it's impossible to clean, and it's almost impossible to put together in the first place. So for security purposes, it's probably going to break, and your animal's going to escape. If you guys have ever dealt with an escaped rodent, you don't want to, just trust me. Escaped rodents are not fun. They can get into any nook and cranny in your house, and then they are just gone. So that's always fun. But so that's not secure. It's definitely not enough living space. It's not practical. It just looks cute, I guess. I kind of think it's hideous. Definitely not worth $130 for a piece of junk like this that is not suitable for an animal whatsoever. So, and these are just habitats that I'm talking about right now, right? Not even food or anything like that. So a lot of there's a lot of misconceptions with diet of animals as well. And I'd be more than happy to go into diets of animals. I've done a few diet videos already. I did some about reptiles and lizards. I did a whole video about birds as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about birds today. So that's one terrible, awful, horrible example of how animals are kind of marketed for little kids. And not that there's anything wrong with little kids loving animals. I want to encourage kids loving animals, but I want you guys to love them and admire them and care about them for real, not just as a novelty or a toy, right? Because they're not toys. So that just tells you how they're kind of marketed for kids. This is a ever so slightly better enclosure than the dinosaur, because I mean, how can that get any worse? I mean, come on, that's just ridiculous. I mean, maybe if it was smaller, that could probably be worse. And it's also horribly expensive. By the way, you can set up a rodent, like a hamster, in a plastic tub that you can buy at Walmart or Target or wherever you may want. The Container Store has all kinds of cute colors of those too. So if you're interested in a cute color, hello, phone, you're so cute. If you like the colors of all these things, nothing wrong with all the colors. The colors are very cute. We love bright colors here at Once in a While. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But if you're interested in all those colors, a lot of the tubs and things actually do come with come in pretty colors like purple and blue and yellow, etc., green, whatever you may like. So the color is not really an excuse to just go ahead and buy this cage that is not suited for anything to live in my opinion. So this here is a very, very common kind of style of cage, which is sold at many, many pet stores. And this, again, is a real product. As you can see, it's kind of a taller design. And for some reason, a lot of people are under the misconception that let me make it bigger for you so you can see that all these tunnels and tubes right here, see all these little tunnels and tubes and climbing areas that makes up for the small space down below. And I know you can't see anything to give you like a size reference, but it's very small. And a lot of times these cages are actually designed more for easy shipping rather than an animal living in them, which I find very sad. So it's really honestly just kind of a money-making thing. It's not really suitable for animals to live in. They don't live a good life in these. They have very little space. A hamster, etc., or a gerbil or a mouse would do very well in a much larger, kind of tabletop sized tub. That is a very good choice. And you can get those for, around $20 at the store. And you either put the lid on it and you kind of, maybe you can build a little screen top for the lid. And you want to do that for security, right? But there's ways to build that kind of stuff. And that's much better for them. You can add bedding to it. You can add their food and water, of course, and you can add all kinds of fun enrichment and fun things for them to do. You can add tubes and tunnels inside of that space and switch it up from time to time. That way they have something to do that's new all the time. That is very enriching to animals to have that option. That is much less expensive. It's also much better for everybody, including the animal. They're also going to have more room to dig. Hamsters love to dig. That is one thing that hamsters must do to be happy. And this space down here in this little purple section on this cage here is not enough space to really fill with a lot of substrate and bedding for them to just dig and tunnel and have a good old time and be a hamster. So it's not a great option. This is another very, very popular cage for hamsters. Again, $45. You could probably easily get a tub for like $20 and everybody's going to be much, much happier. It's a lot easier to clean as well. Where are you going? Come back. You want more snacks? Because you deserve it. You're the best. Here, have a snack. Yeah. So I'm losing track. So all of these you have this little tiny, this one's actually smaller than this one. This one's bigger. This one's smaller. This little section down here is what they kind of have to live in. Also, this kind of style with all the bars and everything, how are you going to take it apart easily to clean it? Again, it makes it almost impossible to properly clean, sanitize, keep your animals healthy, keep you healthy. You definitely want to be cleaning up after rodents pretty much every day, at least every other day. For the guinea pigs, twice a day. So to clean your enclosure is very, very important. So you want to have something that's easily, you can hose it out, you can easily wash it out, you can easily disinfect, etc. Because that's very, very important with mammals, especially because they can get sick. And you can get sick from them, and that's not good, right? So we want to make sure it's something easy to clean. This looks cute to kids, and it looks cute to parents. They think, oh, pretty colors, lots of activity on, availability on this thing. It's got a wheel. Wheels are great for rodents of all kinds. I don't really give them to guinea pigs because they don't need wheels. They just need a lot of space to roam around. Wheels can actually hurt your guinea pig's back, so it's not good for them. But many smaller rodents like hamsters and gerbils and mice and even hedgehogs, which are not rodents, benefit from a wheel. And this kind of cage thing comes with a wheel up here, so people think, oh my gosh, that's perfect. But how are you going to clean this wheel? So it's better to just have a nice space for your animal, maybe a tub or some kind of bin. And if it's a non-climbing rodent, you don't even need a lid. If it's a climbing type rodent, you want to have a lid that's, has some aeration. You definitely don't want to smother your animals. So you want to make it breathable. That's that being said. I definitely don't want you to put your animals in an airtight tub. I never said that. So please don't quote me on that. But my general rule is you want to give them enough space to roam around, play, be themselves, eat and drink, and be able to get away from their mess. And if you just kind of set it up as a blank canvas, you can add a wheel and you can add toys and you can add enrichment and tunnels and all kinds of things, and periodically take them out, switch them out for enrichment, because the more you switch out your enrichment, the better it is for everybody. Of course, depending on the situation, but often you want to often kind of switch things up for smarter, intelligent animals like rodents, and you want to be able to clean it easily, right? So this enclosure is terrible. You can't even, I mean, how you're supposed to take this whole thing apart, and I guarantee a child is not going to do this on their own, so you definitely have to help them. So that's not a very ideal, or what we say in the zookeeping field, a keeper-friendly situation, is it? So not great. This is a funny one as well. I guess we're having a circus theme. Circus mouse, and down below it makes me laugh because you've got a lion, a panda, a rabbit, a monkey, zebra, giraffe, and elephant friends down below in the circus, I suppose. And again, this is extremely tiny. Look how small the water bottle is. That's not very much water, etc. So this is literally just designed to look like a toy, and pets are not toys. Pets are living things, and they deserve really, really good care. Now, a lot of these things look really cute. They look like a toy themselves. There wouldn't be anything wrong with just buying this enclosure and putting some stuffed animals in it or something like that. That would be fine. If you want to maybe get your small children used to the idea of having a pet, maybe go for that option. But, and of course, there's other animals, oh my goodness, that are a little bit maybe more easy to care for than others. But like rodents are very messy, so you're going to have to clean up after them quite a bit. Like I said, you're going to have to feed them every day, the proper diet, and make sure they're happy and healthy. And most importantly, you want to make sure the enclosure is good for the rodent, good for the animal, right? That is number one priority. Not if it's good for you and looks cool to you, but is it good for the animal? What else do we have? Oh, let's talk about guinea pigs. So this is advertised as a guinea pig cage. This is 100% not big enough for a guinea pig. And remember, you're going to need at least 2 guinea pigs living together most of the time, right? So, because they're very, very social animals, they are herd animals. They love to be together and they're very social. They make all kinds of vocalizations to talk to one another. They are very affectionate animals. You can see Iggy being with me. He just wants to lounge out over here. You lounge out. You are so cute. Can I scratch you? You're so cute. Okay, so that's not enough room for a guinea pig. This is advertised as a guinea pig cage. It is $161.99, $162. It has 2-star rating. I don't think I would buy anything with a 2-star rating, right? This is very, very small. For some reason, it has a bunch of climbing features for a guinea pig. Guinea pigs are not arboreal animals. They don't climb very much. Now, not to say they can't hop on top of a small hide or hop on top of a small, they could probably hop on top of this for fun. But honestly, you're going to be wasting your money buying anything like this for a guinea pig. They need much, much, much more room. The more room, the better for a guinea pig, because they are very active animals. Like I said, they only are up about 4 to 5 hours every single 24-hour period. So 20 hours a day, they're running around like crazy, more or less, and eating and just awake in general. So you want to give them lots and lots of room. So something like what's called a CNC cage for a guinea pig, which you usually have to make yourself. They also do sell them online. It's CNC cage. And those are chloroplast, and I forget what the other C stands for, but it's basically a wire and chloroplast setup. And very, very easy to make. I made one myself for all 4 of our guinea pigs. And what's nice about the CNC cages is that you can make them into any shape or size that you want. And it's really, really easy. Much, much less expensive than buying this enclosure, which is not enough room for a guinea pig whatsoever. So do not buy an enclosure like this for a guinea pig. You are going to waste your money. They will be miserable living in this. They don't have enough room to run around. A guinea pig is a ground-dwelling or terrestrial animal, so they're going to need a lot of ground room to just kind of run around and do their thing. They can't have a wheel. Like I said, it hurts their back. So having this little platform to kind of jump up on top of, that's not enough exercise for them. And then they won't be happy. And even if you gave your guinea pig lots and lots of time outside of its enclosure, this cage is still completely unacceptable, in my opinion, for even 1 guinea pig, much less 2 guinea pigs, which you should have. So not great. And this is actually advertised as a large guinea pig cage. So and also very hard to clean because guinea pigs don't really need a top on their enclosure unless you have like dogs and cats that will get after them, and you need that enclosure for their safety. They don't really climb or jump out, so my guinea pig enclosure does not have a top. So having no top makes it a lot easier for you to get in and clean their bedding and give them food and water and their hay and all of that. It makes it a lot easier. Just trust me. You want to keep it nice and simple, and then you just add to the enclosure. Instead of having the enclosure look like a toy, you add toys to the enclosure. Start with a blank canvas, blank slate, lots of room for your animal. That way you have tons of options, right? Here's another cage. This is advertised for a guinea pig or dwarf rabbit. Rabbits do not belong in small cages ever, even if it is a dwarf rabbit. Do not put your dwarf rabbit, if you have one, in a small cage. You want to give them maybe like a playpen situation if you can't free roam them. Free roaming is always best for a rabbit in general. If you can house roam your rabbit and rabbit proof your house and you don't have any pets that will attack your rabbit, and you can make sure that they're not going to escape, etc. You always want to keep rabbits indoors as well. Please don't keep rabbits outside. They are prey and they can be susceptible to not only predators like hawks and foxes and raccoons and feral cats and all kinds of things. Almost anything can eat a rabbit because they're prey animals. They're food for lots and lots of animals, just like rodents are, right, Iggy? And not only that, they are very susceptible to weather issues as well, and parasites. So they can get parasites, diseases outside. Right now, there's actually a disease affecting rabbits all over the world right now. So you don't want your rabbits to be outside right now, especially. But they get overheated very, very, very easily outside. If you live in any kind of hot climate like South Texas, where I live, it gets to be over 100 degrees in the summer. That is not okay for a rabbit to live outside in. You want to keep them inside instead, in indoor temperature controlled areas. That's much, much better for them. They're a lot less stressed inside as well. But please do not keep them inside of a cage. Now, a lot of people are like, what? How do I have a rabbit in my house? Well, you have a cat or a dog in your house, right? Rabbits are litter box trainable. You can actually train them to use the litter box a lot easier than most animals, in my opinion. It's super easy. My rabbit, Sandor, who is a Flemish giant rabbit, he's about 22 pounds at this point. There's no cage made that would contain him and be a proper size enclosure for him. So instead, I have actually used a great big giant Great Dane sized kennel, and I basically use that as his hide, home base, litter box area, food area, water area, all those things. So that's just like his little home base. He gets the entire room to run around. In my case, I have a room for him instead of the whole house because we have lots and lots of animals and I don't want him getting into everything and getting into danger. And we have some areas where he shouldn't be at. So having a great big room is plenty of room for him on the normal basis. And he also gets out to programs and things like that, as you guys know. But so if you can do that, that's actually best for your rabbit. He also has an exercise pen, which is kind of part of that kennel. So the kennel is like I said, his home base where his litter box and food and water are. And then around that, he's got a great big giant large dog exercise pen. So if I need to just put him away while I'm vacuuming or put him to the side while I'm training another animal, etc., that's perfectly fine. So that's an ideal situation for a rabbit. Ideally, you want to free roam them, but if that's just not safe for your rabbit or the rest of your family, etc., don't do that. You want to provide them with either a great big exercise pen, which is much cheaper than this cage, by the way. This cage is, I want to say, there's no price on it, but these cages are expensive, just like some of the other ones we saw, and not worth it. This is not even close to how much room even a dwarf rabbit needs. Dwarf rabbits are very active, even though they're tiny, and large. Anything larger than a dwarf rabbit is any other breed of rabbit would need room too. So not a great situation for rabbits. Also for rabbits, I do want to point out that they do much better with a water bowl instead of a water bottle. Rabbits tend to overheat, like I said, and they tend to get dehydrated. So you want to make sure that you're providing your rabbit with much, much more water than a water bottle can provide. Guinea pigs are fine with water bottles because they tend to actually knock over their water all the time and get really, really messy, and they drink really well from a water bottle. So that's perfectly fine for a guinea pig. In fact, we have 2 water bottles for the guinea pigs, and we have a great big water dish for the rabbit. I do have a water bottle as well when he travels, as well as, because he'll spill it if we're traveling, but as well as an extra water in case he runs out of water. So I'm really adamant about giving him enough hydration because I know rabbits can get very, very hot, especially in the summer. So that is a better situation for a rabbit, is in a room with a litter box. And there's many ways to do that, and I'm more than happy to help you guys if you need specific details on that and you want to get back to me. and whatnot. But a rabbit needs a lot more room to roam. They need to run around every now and then. And usually rabbits are very good about returning to their litter box to use the restroom. So they're actually pretty easy to keep in a room or your house, depending on your situation. And all of this is depending on your situation. Everybody's house and everybody's household and everybody in general is different, aren't they? Mackie. So this is another one of my least favorite options for a rabbit. It's called a rabbit hutch. This thing is very expensive as well. It is $140.26. It used to be $200, so $199.86. And ooh, what a deal. You got $59.60 off, 30% off. Ooh. This is not enough room for a rabbit whatsoever. Rabbit hutches actually got started from keeping rabbits for agricultural purposes, which means eating them. So rabbits used to be kept, well, they still are kept for food, and there's nothing really wrong with that per se. But pet rabbits are very different than food rabbits, right? Just like pet chickens and pet pigs and everything else, they're not food. So not to say that those animals don't deserve a good life while they're still alive, but it's not the same thing. A rabbit that is a pet is going to live anywhere from 8 to 12 years, depending on your breed. So 8 to 12 years stuck in this tiny box over here, is not really a great life. And all of these tiny boxes are really bad choices for your animals, right? So this is a rabbit hutch. Hutches were, like I said, originally for like livestock rabbits. They were kept outside, etc. When you have your house rabbit, which is what I recommend, you want to keep them in a much larger space. So hutches are a waste of your money. Also, they're made of wood, which I find hilarious because guess what rabbits do? They chew on wood and they chew on all kinds of items. So this is a terrible choice for a rabbit because they're just going to destroy it. And they're going to get bored in there, probably with nothing to do other than maybe you give them some enrichment and food in there, right? But they don't have any room to roam. They're probably going to get pretty bored. So they're probably going to chew that whole thing and just destroy it. So you just wasted well, this one's $200 normally. You wasted all that money for no reason, and it's not nearly enough room for them, which is the main reason that you shouldn't buy a rabbit hutch. The only way that a rabbit hutch would work, I guess, is to have a ground level rabbit hutch. And just like I described with the big dog kennel, it's a big metal dog kennel, by the way, one of those metal symbol ones. You can use that as like your litter box and food area, and then your rabbit would have like a big exercise pen around it, like a metal exercise pen, you know what I'm talking about? And we can get into more details about that if you want more care advice. We're just talking about how animals are not toys today, right? Pets are not toys. But that would be the one way I could see this maybe working, but I would never recommend a wood hutch because, again, they're just going to destroy the thing. So don't waste your money. If you want to just get an exercise pen and set up a litter box and food station and all of that for your rabbit, maybe put a rug down to save your floors. Again, rabbits are very potty trainable, so that's not really an issue. But if you feel better about it, get yourself a nice rug and put it down on the ground, put an exercise pen on top of there, and you got yourself a rabbit enclosure, and you can just build upon that. You can also, like I said, get that dog kennel, make that the home base, and kind of that helps me to kind of just like clean it and everything. I just like everything to be organized. So that's just what I did. But that's part of the whole pen that he has. And he gets this whole room to roam around in 90% of the time. The only time he's in there is when I'm cleaning the rest of everybody or vacuuming or something like that where he needs to be out of the way. So that's the only time. So that's the only way that I could see a hutch working per se, is to be able to, you know, make that just like the home base and then you have the enclosure around it or part of it. I hope that makes sense. Here's another terrible rabbit cage. This one actually has 5 stars, which I'm very, very shocked, but it's only 1 rating, so don't get too excited. This is probably just somebody who is misinformed on rabbit care, and that's fine. I mean, it happens. That's why I have a job, right? So I can teach you guys. This is definitely way too small for a rabbit of any breed whatsoever, and way too small for a guinea pig as well. So you could, if you already had a cage like this, say you already have a rabbit and you've already been given a cage like this and you already purchased this cage, oh well, you can't return it and it's already too far gone and too used. You can actually take the wire part out and use this green part. In this case, it's green, but it comes in different colors, of course. You can use that part as like the litter box. And that would be a great, big, nice litter box. Hi, Nikki, you're being so sweet. That would be a great, big, nice litter box for your rabbit to enjoy. That's a nice litter box. So the litter box actually has litter on the bottom. Some people put potty pads on the bottom too. I don't. I just put litter. And then and the litter that I use is actually a wood stove pellet or a equine pine litter. I use that. And then what you want to do for rabbits is you put their Timothy or orchard hay on top of the litter. And what a rabbit usually does is they will graze and use the bathroom in the same spot. So they will go in there and eat the hay on top and then pee and poop while they're eating. And that's how they learn to go to the bathroom in that place. And Sandor is very, very good at going to the bathroom where he's supposed to. He's a very, very good rabbit. And it wasn't hard to train him at all. I just basically fed him in there and he learned. Let me come over here and eat your snacks. Come here. Everybody can see our face. Is Iggy not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your life? Okay, so another not so great example of a rabbit cage or enclosure. So that's all I have for the mammals. That's all I have for the mammals. What do you guys have to say about this? Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you. Yes, they are so very tiny, and kind of breaks my heart that a lot of these cages are so common. And so I guess people are just misinformed because they go to the pet store and they see these animals and they ask for advice from the staff, right? And they want to trust the staff. Now, back in my day, when I did work at a pet store, long time ago, you know, I think I knew a lot better than some of the staff that work at pet stores. And I'm not like necessarily trying to hate on anyone. I'm just saying that the pet stores that are the big pet store, I'm not going to name any names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. A lot of times they don't really train their employees on what to teach people that are purchasing an animal. So if you are looking for any kind of animal that you're going to adopt, you like his hair, I recommend doing your research on good Facebook groups from experts, from animal people like myself, from people that already maybe have the animal that you're looking for, maybe like see what works for them and what doesn't work for them. Veterinarians usually have great advice, especially your exotic veterinarians. They have a lot of good care advice, especially for diet and things like that. And of course, just doing your research on your own. There's lots of videos on YouTube from pet experts that have a lot of good advice, and you'll find what works for you. But you want to have kind of like your standard of care for these animals. That way you can know at least the basics of caring for them before you bring one home. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Hello, Ricky. And again, we don't want to be buying these animals on impulse just for a child where the adult's not going to help, because that animal's going to suffer in the long run, because a child is just not going to be capable of giving them the care that they need. You're also going to need a good veterinarian on hand in case something happens, in case that one of your animals gets sick. Sorry, guys. So I got carried away. I did not check my camera's timer, so I do apologize. But it's back on now. Don't you worry. We're back. We're here. Everything's great. So you want to have a veterinarian on hand in case something happens, an emergency, or some of these animals that need vaccinations, like ferrets, for example. Those guys need vaccinations. And of course, dogs and cats need a good veterinarian as well. And you want to talk to maybe an animal nutritionist. There are such a thing, and animal experts on animal care. And just do your very best for these animals, right? So I'm going to take a short break really fast. We're going to well, I guess we'll let Iggy just finish his snack. And then we're going to switch over to another animal category, and I'm sure you guys are going to love the next animal category. And again, today's topic is pets are not toys. Now, did you see how some of those cages and enclosures, etc., were actually kind of either brightly colored, looked like toys, like the dinosaur, right? That's kind of a marketing scam, isn't it? To encourage people to buy these little animals for just kids. Animals should never be bought just for kids. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I hope this is making sense. You want to make sure that it's a family ordeal, that everybody's, not necessarily everybody's doing all the work, because Lord knows, I do most of the work around once in a while, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, if you're just buying an animal and the child loses interest, a lot of animals are rehomed. Like I was saying earlier, guinea pigs are oftentimes purchased for children, and then they lose interest, or they don't realize how high maintenance they are, because they are high maintenance, and how much care they need, and so they end up homeless. And a lot of animals end up like that. So it's always a good idea to actually adopt before you shop. I'm not anti-shopping for animals. I'm not anti-breeder. I'm not anti-anything. I just want to make sure you guys are looking into all of your options first to see if any animals need homes first, right? And that's always the responsible thing to do, because your next friend could be already waiting for their new home, right? Your next friend could be already homeless and waiting for their forever home now. So why not check it out and see what's available first? And then if nothing suits you, like say if you're getting a dog, for example, not everybody, in my opinion, should just adopt a shelter dog, because that's not for everyone. But if it is for you, awesome. And you can actually provide that animal a good home. And check it out first. And if nothing suits you, then you can go the other route. Maybe go from a responsible breeder or etc. But either way, you want to be doing a lot of research. You don't want to just impulse buy an animal if you see it in a pet store, especially just for a child. Another great example, since we were talking about bunnies and rabbits, is bunnies for Easter. You guys are probably familiar with a lot of rabbits that actually get purchased for children as baby rabbits for Easter presents. That's very, very common. It used to be a lot more common. In fact, when I was a little kid, I think I was like 4, I was given a bunny rabbit when I was little, and I definitely did not know what I was doing at 4 years old. That tiny little baby bunny grew into a very large rabbit, and we had no idea what we were doing back in the day. This was a long time before Once in a Wild, right? Or before I got my animal care degree, zoology degree, all of that. And before I worked anywhere with animals, I was just a little kid. So I didn't know anything. And so we ended up rehoming that rabbit, which I think was the right thing to do because we really didn't know what we were doing and we were not a good home for that rabbit. But that happens a lot, and a lot of rabbits become homeless. In fact, I believe rabbits are the 3rd most rehomed animal that is a pet in the United States, especially. And the next one, I think after that, is birds. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. I can't get enough of this cute guinea pig. I don't deserve him. Iggy's the best. And Iggy's a rescue too. Remember, he was a hand-me-down guinea pig. I can't imagine why they didn't want him. But, you know, he is adorable. Another one Ricky is reminding me are chicks and ducks for Easter. Yes, chicks, ducks, and bunny rabbits oftentimes are Easter gifts. And that's not very responsible, is it? It's not just a toy. Pets are not toys. Pets are a living animal. You want to make sure you have the commitment to be able to take care of them their whole life. So pets are for life. They're not just toys. But if for some reason you end up with an animal that you just can't take care of, you can't just leave. You're on camera. If for some reason you end up with an animal that you just can't take care of anymore, you definitely don't want to abandon them or set them free. You do want to find them a responsible new home, right? That is something that we've done several times here Once in a Wild, and that I've done my whole life. So that's not necessarily all bad. I don't want to hate on anybody that has done that before because that's definitely the right thing to do if you were just not the right home for that animal. We don't want to abandon them, but my point is that a lot of animals are waiting for homes. If you're looking for a new pet, you want to do that first. Okay, let's switch over from our topic of mammals to another animal, shall we? And I shall return in just one moment. I'm going to take a quick break to get him settled down. Let's say goodbye to Iggy. I think he's ready to go down. Iggy, say goodbye to your fans. Bye, fans. He's adorable. He is so sweet. He's just ready to get down. Alrighty, guys. So we're going to go ahead and take a short, very, very short little break really fast, and I'll be right back. Okay, thank you so much for your patience. Look who's here with us today. It's Shelton John, the tortoise, and he's going to have some snacks as well, just like Iggy got earlier. Just like Iggy, Shelton is a vegetarian. He is an herbivore, and some of his favorite treats are things like yellow squash, which he is getting right now. So let's talk a little bit about reptiles, one of my favorite types of animal. Now, thankfully, a lot of care has improved vastly when it comes to reptile care in the care of humans. Back in the old days, it was not that great at all. But I still do want to address reptiles as a pet that is not really suitable as a toy for children, right? So you guys probably know where I'm going with this, but Shelton is actually a tortoise. he has a close cousin, which is known as the turtle, right? So turtles and tortoises are in the same family group, but tortoises are different than turtles in a few ways. Tortoises are always herbivores. As you can see, he's enjoying his plants right now. Tortoises don't swim. They would actually sink in water if it was too deep. He does drink water, of course, and gets soaks in water, which is shallow water that he can't drown in, and etc. He's also got elephantine legs, which are great big, giant elephant-like tree trunk legs. And most tortoises have a rounded shell instead of a flat shell like most turtles. But a lot of people sometimes purchase little baby turtles, don't they? Uh-oh, I forgot to change the screen. There we go. Let's go to this one so you guys can see Shelton. He's so cute. So have you guys ever seen anything like this in your life? I bet you have. It used to be very, very, very common for this kind of thing to happen, and it's still available on the market. So this is still a product that exists. I believe it is sold at Walmart. And this is sold as a turtle enclosure. So sometimes, at least back in the old days, you would go to the flea market, or you would go to the mall, or you would go on the side of the road, and there would be little baby red-eared slider turtles available for sale for children. Did you know that red-eared slider turtles can, I think the record of their life expectancy was 50 years? That is a long commitment for a little child. This tortoise here is expected to live anywhere from 40 to 60 years, so it's around the same life expectancy. Now, that is very, very old for a red-eared slider turtle. Don't get me wrong. Most red-eared slider turtles live maybe 20, maybe 25, 30, but the record, I believe, was in the 50s. That is insane, but it's definitely not a toy for children, right? It's not an animal that you are going to have a short commitment with. It's going to be at least like a 15 to 20, maybe 25-year commitment. That's a long time. And tortoises, too, are a long commitment as well. In fact, Shelton John, as well as his friend Frank Sinatra, our other tortoise here at Once in a Wild, they're both rehomed rescue tortoises. Shelton is not that old. We don't know his age, but he's still pretty young. He's not a very large red-footed tortoise yet, but he does... like I was saying, he was already rehomed even at his young age. The other one that we have, Frank Sinatra, he is much larger than Shelton and probably older. Again, we don't know his age either because they're both rescues. Now, with tortoises, you don't know their age unless you know their birthday because they grow based on their care and what they get to eat, their lighting, water intake, sunlight, all the things can help them grow or not grow. And Shelton actually has little bumps on his shell, which is known as pyramiding. Pyramiding is what that's called on tortoises. It's not a good thing. Hopefully that won't get any worse with him, but that shows us that he did not have a proper diet. He was probably fed some kind of meat item in his diet, which he shouldn't be because he's an herbivore. Now, an occasional bug or slug or even a small dead animal is not that bad for this species in the wild, but in the care of humans, we shouldn't really be feeding them those things very often at all. In fact, almost never. So he is now on a salad and a vegetable-only diet. He also gets grass and hay and browse, which are natural plants from outside, and he gets a lot of natural sun and, of course, water to drink. And when he's indoors for the winter, he gets his good UV lighting and heat lighting. So he is definitely spoiled now. But he will always have these little bumps. He should actually be totally smooth. So this is from his previous care. That just tells you a little bit about him as well, and that he's a rescue in of itself. Also, Iggy is a rehomed animal too, right? So both of those animals had a previous life that we don't know much about, but we're doing our best now. But again, a lot of animals get rehomed. So if you're looking for a pet, look to adopt before you shop. But what I was going to say is a lot of times people will buy these little turtles and they live a long time and they're under the misconception that they will stay small. A red-eared slider turtle, which is usually the one that you will buy, they're like this big, which by the way is illegal to sell at this size unless for educational purposes. Turtles are bought this large and then they get to be dinner plate sized. This enclosure right here is too small for any living animal to live in. You could probably put a toy turtle in there. It's also $35, which makes me laugh. That's crazy. Why? It's a piece of trash. So do not buy this for any animal whatsoever. So what I was going to say is people buy these little turtles on impulse, or little animals, maybe a fish, etc., on impulse for a child. They're marketed for children, or they used to be anyway. Hopefully that doesn't even happen anymore, but I'm sure it does in some places, right? It's terribly irresponsible. Turtles and tortoises alike both are diurnal animals, meaning that they are awake during the day and active during the day as a species. Therefore, they need lighting. So a turtle living in this thing, excuse me, guys, I got a dry throat. I get so excited about turtles. They're living in this thing with no lights on them, etc. They're going to die. Those animals are not going to make it. They absolutely need ultraviolet lighting, special lighting, or they need to be outside. They also need heat lamps as well to have a basking spot, which is a certain temperature depending on their age and your situation and the temperature of your home and the temperature of the outside. Putting them outside is actually best for them because they get the sun and ultraviolet rays from the sun all in one. So it's great for everybody. That's where Shelton lives most of the time during the warmer months. Like right now, right, Shelton? Would you like more? I bet you would. I think squash is his favorite food. He can't tell me, but he seems to really like it. Oh, he spit it out right on cue. He's like, bleh. You want me to break it for you? You're so spoiled. You don't want the skin? Eat it. Yum. Come on. You can do it. Tortoises are so slow with everything they do. Okay, so have patience. But these turtles, these water turtles, like I said, are sold as pets. I don't believe they make good pets for anyone, much less a small child. That is very irresponsible. A lot of times they just don't make it because they don't get the proper lighting. They usually don't get the proper diet either. Water turtles are actually omnivores. They're not just carnivores. So a lot of times they're sold as carnivores and they're sold with like a pellet diet, which isn't necessarily bad, but it's not the only thing that they should be eating for sure. That would be like me eating French fries all the time. I could probably live off of French fries all the time, but I probably shouldn't eat French fries all the time. I should probably have a varied diet, right? Just like a turtle should. A tortoise, again, is an herbivore, so they're just getting plants. A water turtle, like a red-eared slider, which is usually the species that is sold for kids, pets, they are omnivores. And they eat both meat and plants. That's a big difference between turtles and tortoises. But they get a pellet diet. They get live prey like worms and bugs and things. And they also get vegetation. So most people don't know that when they buy one. They're like, oh, this is a super easy pet. You just throw it in a little pool and has a cute little stupid plastic palm tree. And they're easy, right? No, not true at all. Not true at all. These guys need lighting. They need all kinds of things. And they get pretty large. They actually get about the size of a dinner plate. And fun fact, they are one of the messiest and dirtiest animals you can possibly have in your household. So not only do they need lighting, heating, proper diet, a great big enclosure. So when these guys get to be that large, I recommend like a 50 to 100 gallon like fish tank for these guys. You can probably keep 2 in a 100 gallon. Okay. I recommend not getting them at all. I recommend a totally different kind of animal to bring into your home. Probably there's much better options than water turtles. But if you do end up with one and you want to hang on to them for the rest of their life, which could again be anywhere from 20 to 50 years, long time. You want to provide them with the largest enclosure you can. They're also very messy, so you need a very, very powerful filter as well. So that filter needs to be about the best filter you can buy with your money. They're super messy. You're going to have to change their water about once a week minimally. Even if you do have a very good filter, I would say 3 times a week is probably better to change their water. That's a lot of work. These guys are a lot of work. They're not a kid's pet, and they're certainly not a kid's toy for sure. Oh, yes. It's okay if you need to leave, you guys. I totally understand. This is the middle of the day, and I appreciate you guys with whatever you can watch. Don't forget, our shows are also always posted again to YouTube and to Facebook afterwards, so you can always rewatch them as well. I just want to make sure and get this message out for you guys, because I'm very passionate about this. If you can't tell, I'm not only passionate about animals, conservation, and wild things, but also about animal care, including pet care, because let's face it, a lot of people do have pets in their home. Not necessarily a bad thing. We just want to do the very best that we can for them. If we are going to bring them into our lives, we owe them to give them the best life that we possibly can, right? Oh, yes. I think Shelton's really enjoying eating his squash. So while we have Shelton out, I'm going to switch topics because that's the only reptile I wanted to actually address. There are many other reptile issues in the care of humans, but we would talk about that all day. And maybe we'll talk about specific reptile care in another animal program, just like I did with our bird video before. We talked about pet bird care in another video. Hello. And so maybe we'll cover that a little bit better, maybe with snakes or with lizards. We've done a lizard care video as well, but not specifically care, but diet. We did a lizard diet video. So I'll think about that as well. But there's a lot to talk about, so I can't talk about that or else we'd be here all night, right? So yes. But the turtle thing made me remember how turtles used to be sold or are still sold as pets for children. And it's almost like a toy. It's not a toy. Not a toy at all. No animal is a toy, right? I'm going to hide that really fast. And we're going to get to another topic really quickly. While we have Shelton out, he's not leaving yet. Let me know if you have any questions about Shelton or anything else we've talked about. So another category I want to bring up are fish. Let's talk about fish. Let's do that. So this is a betta fish enclosure. Now, I was actually looking through all of the photos that I had pre-selected for this program, and I think that this is probably the best animal enclosure that I found. But it's still, as you can see, it's pretty small. A betta is, well, it's recommended that a betta have about 2 gallons. Excuse me, I have such a dry throat today. Forgive me. Please forgive. This is live and it's real life. Scratchy throat, allergies. So, what was I saying? I'm going to take a quick break. Excuse me. So sorry, guys. I had a frog in my throat. Not a tortoise, but a frog. Alrighty, guys. So this, I think, is probably the best animal enclosure per se that I actually selected out of all the examples of why pets are not toys and why they're marketed for children and as decorations and things. But fish, I feel like, are some of the most neglected and abused animals in care of humans in people's homes. And a lot of people have fish and they take wonderful care of their fish. I have betta fish and I love betta fish. I think betta fish are probably the best pet fish that you can select. They're very, very easy, but we want to make sure to give them the best life that they can possibly have, right? Because they're not decorations. They're actually living animals, aren't they? So bettas need about 2 gallons or more. They say 2 to 10 gallons. I think 10 gallons is a little large for a betta, unless you have it filled with a bunch of fun things for them. 2 to 5 is probably what I would recommend. It's also a lot easier to care for them with the 5-gallon enclosure than a 10-gallon enclosure, because unless you have a filter on them, you're going to have to change their water about 2 to 3 times a week. So there's nothing wrong per se with keeping a betta in a bowl type situation with no filter, because they don't have to have a filter for oxygenation of their water like many fish do. They are one of the few fish that you can actually keep in a bowl. In fact, they're probably the only fish that you can safely keep in a bowl situation or an enclosure with no filter. They can live like that, but you have to change their water very, very often, because just like the turtle that we talked about before, they're very messy and their water gets very dirty. So you want to make sure they have a nice, clean environment for sure. So, but I wanted to show this photo because you can see how it's catered to or kind of like marketed towards little kids. Nothing wrong with your small child loving bettas. There's nothing wrong with their small child loving fish or any kind. And there's nothing wrong with them helping out with their care. But it needs to be an adult or older child's responsibility to care for these animals, because they're not decorations. They're not toys. They are living animals. But you can see how this is kind of marketed towards like a pretty princess castle or whatever it may be. Nothing wrong with a pretty princess castle, of course. If you're an adult and you want your betta to be your little pretty prince, because it's probably a male, let's face it, most bettas are males that are pets because they're the pretty ones. But if you want your betta to be a pretty princess and live in a castle and you're going to take good care of them and you're cleaning out their habitat all the time and everything's great, go for it. I'm not anti that. I think that the enclosure down below is perfectly suitable. It might be a little small. You could probably go a little larger and maybe put a castle on top or behind it or inside. Maybe you can get a cute little castle for them to swim in and out of. That's fine. That's not the point of this. But you want to make sure that you're not just buying them as a decoration or a child's toy. Does that make sense? One really quick moment. I'm going to check my camera's timer while you guys watch Shelton eat his food. Oh, he's so cute. We love Shelton so much. We have Shelton, John, and Frank Sinatra, our tortoises. You've run out of squash, but you have greens. Would you like your greens? He's like, where's my squash? That's my favorite. Let's talk some more about fish. This is a goldfish bowl. This is actually a filtered bowl somehow. It is 16 gallons, so it's on the larger side for a beta. I would not mind seeing a beta in something like this, but a goldfish never belongs in a bowl. And a goldfish, in my opinion, should have about I want to say 40 to 100 gallons, because goldfish, again, are another very messy animal. So the messier the animal, the more the room they're going to need, right? And he only wants squash, apparently. Come on, let's get you situated so you can eat your salad. You know you like salad. He's like, man, where are the croutons? Well, if you're not going to eat your salad, I'm just going to take it away because you're just hiding behind it. Go ahead and eat it, baby. There's a little more squash on top. There you go. You can have that. So silly. He's really not this picky. He'll eat anything I give him usually. Just being picky in front of you guys. So a goldfish never belongs in a bowl. They can survive in a bowl for a little while, and then they are going to pass away very, very young. Goldfish actually get pretty large, and you're probably going to have more than one goldfish, right? If you're nice enough to give them a friend. Maybe at least 2 or 3 goldfish. So goldfish in a bowl are not okay. Like I said, you could probably keep a beta in this type of situation. It might be a nice beta enclosure. You've got a little filter. You've got, you know, a nice pretty light on top, which is more for the human than the fish, but, you know, it's fine. So this would be an okay beta enclosure. That'd be fine. But for, there you go, he's eating a salad now. Yum. He's so cute. He's so like, when he eats, isn't he? Sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of you. Continue, please. Please continue. Don't mind me. Hey, where are you going? Do I need to hold the salad for you? So spoiled. Oh my, there we go. Wow. The goldfish in this photo do not belong in this bowl. Goldfish are going to get very large if they're healthy enough to grow. And by the way, animals do not stay small if they're in a small enclosure. That is a myth. Animals grow to their care. Animals will grow based on their food they get to eat and their care, not on the size of their habitat. So they can outgrow their habitat if their food and care otherwise are good enough. So you definitely want to provide them with a larger space. Also, like I said, goldfish need a big filter and are usually making a huge mess. So, and goldfish also require a very cold temperature. Betas, by the way, require a warm temperature. So usually a warmer home is totally fine for a beta to live in, or you're going to have a heater if they're not warm enough. Beta are tropical fish from Asia, and I believe goldfish are also from Asia too. I could be wrong, but they're from a cold area of Asia. I do know goldfish for sure need very cold water. So you either have to provide them just a cold room to live in, a chiller on your water, or maybe a fan on your water. Or some people actually keep goldfish, if you live in a cold climate, they'll keep them outside in a pond, like koi, etc., which is another carp species. But goldfish don't do well living in a bowl for very long. They might survive for a few days or a couple weeks, and maybe in some cases for a couple months, but they're really not going to thrive in that situation whatsoever, of course, right? That is just silly. Please don't do that. It is only in the cartoons that ever works, like in Pinocchio, right? With Cleo. So, but this could be, like I said, an option for a beta. A beta can live in a bowl situation, and I do recommend betas have at least 2 gallons of water, like I said. Goldfish never belong in a bowl. They're very messy. And it's just not enough room for them. We want to be humane about our pets. They're not toys. Here's another terrible example of a fish bowl with a goldfish in it, right? This is a hanging wall fixture for betas. This is more advertised for betas, but I thought it was hilarious that number one, it's $8. So how sturdy can it be? I feel like it'd probably break if you put anything in it, like rocks. It's a planter as well. So you could potentially, I guess, use something like this as a planter and just have a pretty plant on your wall. That's fine. I don't recommend keeping any sort of living critter besides a plant in this enclosure whatsoever. It is not big enough for any animal to live in. I guess Shelton's leaving us. Bye. No more squash. See ya. He's being so picky for no reason today. Bye, Shelton. Bye. He's so slow. Alrighty, so he's back. So yes, do not put a goldfish in this. That is absolutely terrible. This is like a tiny jail cell for any animal, but for a goldfish especially, and even a beta, this would not be large enough for them. I don't know how many gallons this is, even if it is 1 gallon. That is certainly not large enough for a beta whatsoever. You could potentially, like I said, just put a plant in this and hang it on your wall, but why? Why do that? Just put it in a vase. Some people do put betas in vases. If it is a large vase, you could do that. Like I said, 2 gallons or more. And again, if you have no filter on your vase or fish bowl or enclosure for your beta, you definitely have to change their water often. I would recommend 3 times a week, at least 2 times a week, to change their water at least partially, because they are going to be very dirty and they can get sick if they are hanging out in their filth all the time, right? Just like anybody would get sick. And betas can easily get stressed in that kind of situation and get very, very sick and die early, unfortunately. So we want to make sure and take good care of our fish. I also do not recommend fish for small children. A beta is fine to have in your family, and maybe the small child is like helping with the beta, like kind of watching them and maybe naming them and feeding them now and again. Please do not ever overfeed your fish. That is very bad for fish, and a lot of people make that mistake as well. Fish are actually some of, in my opinion, the highest maintenance animals you can possibly have. Now, if you want to get them all set up by a professional, a lot of people actually do hire professionals to take care of and maintain their fish tank, which is fantastic. That is the best way to do that, because all your water levels and your ammonia levels and your temperatures and your oxygenation, all the chemistries that are involved with having fish, most fish, besides betas, betas still need water chemistry to be right, but they're a lot less complicated, which is why I love betas. I'm more of a reptile person, so I don't have to worry about all of that stuff. I'm not a fish person whatsoever. Sorry, all the aquarists out there that love fish. I love them too. I think they're beautiful. I just don't want them in my home because it's too much maintenance. It's not my thing. So if that is your thing, that's great. Your kids can help out. They can name the fish. They can enjoy the fish. But I don't recommend a child being like the sole provider of care for any of these animals that we talked about, really, honestly. I think, honestly, an adult should always at least be supervising or being the main caretaker of any animal that you bring in as a pet for a child. So we need to get away from that mentality for buying small pets for small children. It's really not a good idea. Now, there are, of course, tons of animals that are suited for a household with small children. I think cats and dogs are probably the best option. But again, not every cat and dog is for every person. Not every cat and dog likes children. My cat was wonderful. He was a sweetheart. He liked everyone. But not every cat is like that, and I know that. So it all depends, and you have to all kind of take everything into consideration for your situation and for that animal as well. We want to make sure it's right for the animal and right for you. Very, very good. Okay, so that's all I have to say about fish and reptiles for now. We'll get back into reptiles on another presentation, most likely. Let's go ahead and switch topics. We're going to set Shelton John down below to rest for a little while, and we'll see him on another program, I'm sure, pretty soon, actually, and be looking out for that soon. Shelton's in a lot of programs. He's just so wonderful and easy to work with. He is a sweetheart. Let's see what you guys have to say. Ricardo says, I'm going to share this information. I think a lot of people would benefit from it. Do you have it on your website too? We are working on getting some links to our videos on the direct website, onceinawild.com, as you know, Ricardo. But I know you're just asking us to bring it up. We are working on all kinds of things on our website right now. Please visit onceinawild.com, show it some love. And please don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and like this video and comment, and also ring the notification bell. Don't forget that as well. That is one of our new journeys and endeavors is YouTube. That's what I'm talking about. But we're on all the things. We're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, even. So follow us on everything, and you'll be able to see what's going on with us and all the latest things. But these videos are always uploaded to YouTube afterwards. It usually takes some time for the video to show up on YouTube the next day, I think it is. And on Facebook, they're immediately available for rewatching if you want to share them with your friends and family that need animal help or just advice, or if anybody just loves animals and wants to look at them and enjoy them with us. This is fantastic. Abigail, hello, says, my betas have 3-gallon tanks with filters and filter term. I'm not sure what filter terms are. Filters and cool lights. Oh, I see what you're saying. They have all kinds of things. That's awesome. I would love to see a photo of your, maybe you can send me one of your beta setup. Maybe we can use it as an example. I would love that. So if you want to send that to me, give me a text. Down below is my number. I would love to see that. Or if you want to message us here on Facebook, that would be fine. Or YouTube. Like I said, any of the things. I would love to see your setup. That's my point. And plants and a statue to hide it. Yes, all the things. Betas can benefit from a lot of enrichment. Enrichment, by the way, is for something for your animal to do, something to change up their life and give them something to not be bored, somewhere to hide, something to enjoy. That's what enrichment is. It's environmental enrichment, right? We can benefit from enrichment as well. We're gonna let Shelton John walk off for his goodbye. Goodbye, Shelton. Don't fall off the cliff. So anyway, so yes, that's very good. So a lot of fish benefit from enrichment. A lot of people think that fish are dumb. It's not the case. Fish are very smart. They can be taught how to do all kinds of cool behaviors. And they know when their feeding time is, and they really benefit from enrichment, like I said. So it's really important to give all your animals enrichment, whether they be fish, mammals, reptiles, or the next animal that we're going to be talking about. So I guess Shelton has decided to stop walking. Can you keep walking? He's like, no, I'm ready to go rest. Okay, so we'll let him rest, and we'll be right back in one moment. As soon as I'm prepared, guys, I'm going to need an assistant before long, aren't I? All right, we'll see you guys in just a Okay, guys, let's go ahead and switch categories. There are many, many animals that can possibly be a pet for a family, including children, and none of them are toys, are they? So that's the topic at hand, just to reiterate. For those of you that are just joining us, pets are not toys is the topic at hand today. So we've talked about mammals, we've talked about reptiles a little bit, and we talked about fish so far, right? Those are the three things we talked about. Yes, indeed. Let's talk about one more category, which we've actually already discussed on another program. Like I said before, we do have, let's see, a video regarding this species or this category of animals. Let's go ahead and share a screen with you guys once again regarding our next animal. Let me see. Aha. It is birds. Let's go ahead and meet a bird while we're talking about birds. You guys know and love her. Give her some time. She's going to make her entrance eventually. Pika. Good job. This is Pikachu. She is a Lutino cockatiel, and so she's a yellow cockatiel. Not the natural color that they normally are seen in the wild. This is an Australian species of animal. And cockatiels are a close cousin to, cockatiels are a close cousin to the cockatoo is what I'm trying to say. And they are wonderful little parrots. They are in the parrot family. So like all parrots, they do have a curved beak, which is designed for crunching and eating nuts and seeds. It's a great tool to have, especially for that. And also for climbing. They can use their beak to climb. In fact, they can hold their entire body weight up with just their beak. Can you imagine holding your entire body weight up with just your mouth? Pretty incredible. That's all parrots, by the way. And also, a cockatiel, like all parrots, has zygodactyl feet, which means 2 toes in the front and 2 toes in the back. That's how their feet are placed. That's how their toes are placed, I should say. That helps them to grip onto tree branches and climb. So they can use their beak and their feet to climb. And they can also use their feet to use for like little hands. They can hold a piece of food and kind of bring it to their mouth and eat the food. So Pika, I think you're a little bit too light colored for me to have all these lights on. I'm going to turn our lights down a little bit. Would that be okay with everyone? You guys are so patient and awesome as always. And don't worry, Pikachu will be back. She's just eating her snack down below. So, like I was saying, pets are not toys, are they? Birds are definitely not toys. Birds are definitely not a good pet for everyone. In fact, birds are probably one of the hardest type of pet to have. So I don't recommend getting a bird for a small child. That being said, I believe cockatiels and some other kind of smaller birds like that are great for families. In fact, cockatiels are usually what I recommend for most families because cockatiels don't usually latch on to one person like a lot of birds do. They're usually pretty chill with a lot of different people. They're very social and great birds to have, but they're not going to get too super attached to just one family member. They tend to be a lot more laid back as a species. And at the same time, they're very, very social. It's also really good, just like some of the other animals that we talked about before, to have more than one cockatiel or whatever bird you happen to choose in your life if you get a bird, because they're very social and they need each other to stay happy and healthy. Having yourself is not really enough of a substitute, in my opinion, for a bird. So if you have a bird like this, they really need the company of another bird, to be very, very honest with you. So let's talk about how they're not toys either. And let me switch this up really fast because I forgot. There we go. Beautiful. So this is a actual real life enclosure or cage that you can purchase for a small bird. Can you guys see how tiny this is? This little conure is in this little tiny, teeny tiny bird cage and can barely even turn around. So a conure, just like a cockatiel, has a very long tail. Can you guys see Pikachu's long tail? She might be a small bird, but she has a very long tail. It's all feathers. But we wouldn't want that tail to get messed up by a tiny cage, and turning around is definitely a necessity in life. So this cage right here, this little conure can barely even move around. It is absolutely cruel. This would be like living in a closet all the time. It is terrible. And a small closet at that. I know some people that have large closets and probably be, at least you could survive in a large closet, but that wouldn't be a good life for anyone, right? This cage, in my opinion, isn't even suitable for a travel cage. Some of the smaller cages sometimes can be used for like a travel enclosure or a carrier situation if you're going in the car or something like that, or taking a trip to the vet, or just taking a little trip down the road, or whatever you're doing with your bird. Some birds like to travel and go with their humans everywhere. But this isn't even acceptable, in my opinion, for that at all. You can see how tiny it is, the shape of it. It's absolutely unacceptable. Another thing that's wrong with this cage, there's a lot of things wrong with it, is the shape. So the shape is built to be appealing to humans, not to have any sort of appeal whatsoever to the animal actually living inside of it. It doesn't really give them a lot of room, of course, and also it's just a pretty shape for no reason. And it has a little hanger on top. Like, why? Is a Christmas tree ornament? I don't understand the point of this. It's also pink to be able to appeal to small children, like little girls, right? Or maybe you guys like pink. I'm not going to judge anybody that likes pink. We love colors here once in a while too. But my point is, it's definitely marketed for small children, as you can see. And it also has a dowel here, which is very bad for birds' feet. If you happen to have a pet bird and you have a cage that came with the wooden or plastic dowels, which are very, very uniform little perches that can go from one, it's kind of like hangs from one side to the other. Usually those are very bad for your bird's feet because they don't have any variation in that perch. So you want a naturally shaped perch, whether it's real or manufactured. You want to make sure that it actually has variations in the width and the texture of the perch itself. That is more natural for your bird. It makes them exercise their feet more. Imagine having your hand like this literally all the time. Sorry, Pika, I didn't mean to scare you. Is that like a monster? I'm sorry, it's just me. So I scared my bird. So imagine if you had your hand like this literally all the time, because that's how they sleep. It looks like a monster. I'm so sorry. See, sometimes I even scare my own bird. I didn't even mean to. But imagine this is your foot and you're a bird. And that is how your foot is placed literally all the time, just like that. Can you guys see me okay? Look at that. Can you imagine if you were like that all the time? You would get like a cramp. So birds will naturally like kind of move around on their perches. And if they have different things to perch on, then they're going to have healthy feet and not get issues like bumblefoot or cramps in their feet. Here's another terrible cage. I'm just going to tell it like it is. Another pretty color as well. It's a pretty blue cage, isn't it? It's terrible. This is a lot bigger than the last cage, but still not a suitable size for this cockatiel that's sitting in it. That didn't make it much bigger. But there's a cockatiel sitting in this cage. As you may be able to see, there's also one of those horrible wooden dowels going across the whole cage, which I guess is a perch for them. So unhealthy. And also, even this is not nearly enough room. Now, this size cage is acceptable for a travel sort of cage. So I think this one would be okay as a travel cage, but there are better options. And also, this thing is $76.99, $77 for this piece of junk, in my opinion. I imagine this cage is probably the same people that made, oh yeah, it is, All Living Things, is the same people that make some of those guinea pig and rabbit cages. So again, not a suitable option for any sort of bird to live in, and would be okay for a travel cage, but It's got that pretty color to appeal to children and other people, I guess, and looks cute. It's got a little house shape for no reason. That is only for humans. This little shape right here. What is the point? Why couldn't we just go all the way up and give them more room? I don't understand that. It's got a little roof. You'll notice some of the titles of these enclosures as well. This cage is called the All Living Things Manor Bird Cage. Isn't a manor usually a lot larger than this? Is that just because it looks like a house? But they use words like that, like manor, and you'll see some other examples here in a moment, to appeal, and it makes your brain think, oh, it must be big. People order these things online sometimes, and they think it's a big cage, and it is not. This is, I don't know if it's listed as large. I don't see a size listed. I see the measurements, but a lot of times they'll measure it kind of like here. I don't know if you can see my cursor. And this will be like the height, but you're only getting like this little section. It's dumb. Doesn't make any sense. So it's just to be able to easily ship. A lot of these enclosures, like I may have mentioned before with some of the hamster and rodent enclosures, they are the size that they are to be able to ship easily. They fold down, they go into boxes very easily, and they're less expensive for these manufacturers and whatnot to ship to the customer. They're not really made for the animal in mind or with the animal in mind in their care. They're made to be easily shipped in bulk to be able to save more money. Isn't that great? And then they charge you $77 for a piece of junk. Here's another one. All Living Things again. Pavilion bird cage. Oh, a pavilion. It must be fancy. This cage is tiny again. This may be an acceptable travel cage for a very, very, very small bird like a finch. There's actually a finch in it right now. A finch might be able to live in there for travel purposes only, but a finch is absolutely not going to thrive in this size cage. You can see, again, it's a beautiful color green. It's so pretty. Looks like a toy to me. Birds are not toys. No animal is a toy, so definitely not a good idea. So again, the color is secondary, but what I'm telling you is that a lot of these things are tricks to get you to buy them and to get you to buy them for your children. So please don't fall for those tricks. They are not good for the animals. Not good at all. It doesn't matter what color the enclosure is. You want to make sure that it's sizable enough and safe enough and a good choice for your animal to thrive in your care, right? That's what's most important. Also, again, we have this really funky roof for no reason. Let me get another drink, you guys. I'm losing my voice once again. I don't want to lose my voice yet. I have so much more to say. So, pardon me. We've got this funky roof on the top, and I think it's got a hanger as well. So you can hang it up like a Christmas tree ornament. What is happening? Or maybe it's on a handle to carry it. Ooh, so much better. But yes, it's got this funky roof on top with a green top. It's only made to appeal to humans. It's not made for your animal to live in it. If you were living in a small space like this all the time, excuse me, I'm getting emotional. Pardon me, my goodness. If you were living in a small space like this all the time, you would probably be pretty miserable. And that's my point, right? I hate to be so negative about this stuff, but I really want to make sure you guys know how to take care of your animals properly. The more space you can give a bird, the better. In fact, my birds don't even stay in their enclosures very long during the day. They're actually going to be out in their own room with the rabbit. The rabbit lives in his own room with the birds, and some of the other animals live in there as well. But the rabbit is free roam in that room, and the birds are also free roam in the room most of the day. So they get to fly around and get lots and lots of exercise. I don't clip my birds' wings, so they get to fly, and you shouldn't either. They should be able to move in the way that they're supposed to, and that's good exercise for them. A lot of birds end up very, very frustrated and a little bit aggressive because they don't get enough exercise, and they don't burn off energy, and so they're just always frustrated all the time. That would be like living in a wheelchair all the time, even if your legs were not broken. So anyway, so these guys need a lot of room to be able to fly around, get around, thrive, enjoy their life. This is definitely not enough room for them. Here's a hilarious bird cage, and I think this is the last one we're going to show today, so that's enough of that. So this is the Preview Pet Products Featherstone Heights Victorian Bird Cage. Isn't that ridiculous? So you've got a whole bunch of like silly things added to this bird cage, which by the way is super tiny. And it's over $100. Originally, this thing is $231. Why? Why is it $231? It's a piece of junk. So it's got this little random decoration thing. I don't know if this is like a food dish or something. I don't think it is, because the food dish I think is down here. It's got fake windows all over the place and a roof which is triangular for no reason, just to look like a Victorian bird cage. Featherstone Heights Victorian bird cage. Dumb. It's also got a random chimney on the side. Like, why? Like, if you're gonna buy this, just put a plant in it. But why would you buy a planter for $231? Give me a break. What a ripoff. Do not buy any of these cages for a bird or any living thing of any kind. Again, this one or something similar would not be too bad of a choice for like a travel cage situation, but there are better, more suitable and less expensive travel cages for birds that do just fine as well. So my point is, use your common sense. I'm going to get rid of this. That's enough of that. Use your common sense. We want to make sure that we are not viewing birds or any animal as toys, right? They're not toys. They're living animals. They deserve the best life that we can possibly give them because we love them. We want to make sure that they get what they deserve, and everybody's going to win in the long run because it's going to teach your kids responsibility, right? And again, I'm not anti-animal for children. I think there are many animals that are suitable in a home with children. I want to make sure you guys kind of get rid of the mentality of buying pets just for children, unless they're older children, like 12 and up. That's usually okay, but you also want to make sure you're supervising and making sure the animal is taken care of, making sure the animal is safe, making sure the child or anybody in the house, your other pets, do not harm that animal. They're getting the proper diet, proper enclosure, that they're happy, healthy, thriving. And that's going to teach your kids a lot more of a lesson and a better, more positive lesson about empathy and the world around them and animals, right? Now, I, of course, grew up with pets. I made a lot of mistakes growing up because we didn't know any better back then. This was like back in the 80s and 90s. I'm pretty old. So we made a lot of mistakes back then, but we are learning better and better all the time. We have the power of the internet. Now, the internet does have a ton of misinformation, which is why I do what I do. I want to make sure and teach you guys all the things that I know that work. And I'm always learning and always improving all the time, right? That's the main goal in life, is to always learn, always improve yourself, always teach yourself, do your own research, but also talk to experts. You don't want to just do all of your own research because you might have misinformation out there on the internet that might confuse you. And if you've never done XYZ before, how are you going to know about XYZ? So it's okay to learn. That's my whole point. And there's a lot to talk about with pets are not toys, but I wanted to go ahead and touch on the subject today and show you guys my animals again because I love bringing them along with something that I'm very passionate about, which is animal care. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to chime in with your questions. Let me see what you guys have to say. Yes, very sad. There's a lot of misinformation. I don't think people are necessarily doing this on purpose, but the companies really should take initiative and take, what's the proper term that I'm looking for? Responsibility. They really need to be responsible because people look to pet stores. They look to these pet companies that really aren't doing a very good job of educating the public and teaching them proper pet care and what we really should be doing. They're honestly just trying to make money. And I'm not saying everybody at a pet store is trying to make money. I certainly worked at a pet store when I was younger, a million years ago, and I definitely cared about the animals there. I was probably the exception to the rule. I'm pretty sure that people who work in a pet store really do care about the animal. But I think the companies, and especially the larger companies, especially the manufacturing companies that provide these items for animals, they really aren't doing what they should be doing in this day and age, especially when we know better. So I'm sure there's a better way to do it. There must be a better way to do it where everybody can win in the situation. But the animals are who and what is suffering in these situations. And like I said, there's many, many animals that are suitable for homes with children, but not every animal should be a child's pet. In fact, I think that mentality needs to be totally done away with, and it should be more of a family or a group effort to take care of the animals in your own home. Unless you're an adult living on your own, that's totally fine. Or you're a couple and one person is the animal caretaker or whatever. As long as the animals are getting the proper care they deserve, then everybody wins, right? And then, like I said, it kind of teaches the human involved, whether they be a child or whoever, it teaches them a little bit more responsibility and the right thing to do, as opposed to, you want a treat? There you go. She's like, I don't understand. The right thing to do, as opposed to just because they want one. A child shouldn't be given a pet just because they want one. It should be proper for that family involved. It should be definitely researched, not bought on impulse. And like I said before in the beginning, if you are able to adopt a pet that already needs a home, that is the responsible thing to do. So buying an animal on impulse is never great. Okay, guys, I think I've said enough about all of that. Yes, so ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but somebody has to talk about it, right? And there's a lot of misinformation on the internet, and maybe just hearing from one person to another, there's a lot of misinformation. So the best thing you can do is do some research, ask the experts, experts, ask people that have experience with that animal or animals that you're looking to adopt. Maybe even ask a rescue organization or a responsible breeder of those animals. Maybe they have a lot of experience raising those animals. They probably know a little bit about their care. And then you take all of that into consideration and you have a rounded decision that you're going to make, and a rounded your capabilities are going to be a lot better to take care of that animal because you have put all those things together and you're very thorough with your research. Kind of like adopting a human. So if all of you guys, if any of you guys wanted to adopt a baby or an older child, etc., you definitely don't want to do that on impulse, right? That's not good. I'm sure it has happened. Stranger things have happened, but it's not great. So when you're adopting, say you're adopting a 12-year-old child, you probably want to meet them. You probably want to do your research. You probably want to have a good home for that child. You probably want to be prepared. What school are they going to go to? What are they going to eat? What are they going to wear? All those things. You have to take all those things into consideration as well in different ways with animals. You want to learn about their natural history to see what they eat, how they behave. Are they loud? Are they quiet? Are they aggressive? Are they suitable for any home? Am I going to have time to take care of them? That is the number one reason why people rehome animals, why people abandon their animals, is because they don't have time. So if you don't have time for a dog, a cat, a bird, a guinea pig, a rabbit, a turtle, tortoise, a fish, then you shouldn't have them. If you do have time for them and you can make that sacrifice in your life and give them a good life, then great. And you have become one of us. So welcome to the club. That is totally fine. Some of these animals live as long as humans and they never learn to even use the toilet. That is a very random statement. Yes, a lot of them are very messy, if that's what you mean. So a lot of these animals, like birds, are super messy. People like birds. A lot of people like birds. But having a bird in your care is a lot more than just liking them, right? It's okay to love animals. Go to the zoo and enjoy them. Watch our programs and enjoy our animals, or have your own animal program from us. That's a great way to kind of get experience with animals, is by maybe volunteering somewhere for animal care, like a shelter or a rescue or something, a zoo. You can volunteer at different places once we're, I guess, able to again, and that kind of thing is normal again. But my point is, you want to get experience with that first before you just grab one and bring it into your home. Adopt one into your home or buy one off the street or something like that. This is not great. Or pet store. Again, I go to the pet store. I buy supplies at the pet store. I don't necessarily think that every supply at the pet store or item at the pet store is great. And I don't think that everybody should buy a pet from a pet store. I think you should look to adopt first. I think you should look to responsible breeders before you ever shop from a pet store. And then on occasion, some pet stores are totally fine. It just depends on your situation, depends on the animal. Everything depends on everything. So that is all I have to say about that. But I hope you guys have gotten a little bit of insight and education on animal care in general, and how pets are not toys, are they? Pets are not toys. And that is the point I'm trying to make. I know it's been kind of a lengthy discussion on just one thing, but I'm very passionate about this sort of thing. And I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate those of you that stuck around for the whole thing. And if you had to go somewhere, that's totally fine. I do understand that this is in the middle of the day and some people have work to do, just like me. So I get it. But thank you so much for watching. If you haven't followed us on YouTube, if you haven't followed us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the things, please follow us on all of our social media. All the links are in the description as well. And also on onceinawild.com. If I've missed any of the links down there, you can find them all at onceinawild.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us out quite a bit. And that's one of our newest endeavors. Let's go ahead and end with a cute video of Pikachu having a shower. Why not? Because she's adorable. Pikachu is the cutest. Thank you guys so very much for coming and watching the show today. I know it was kind of a different kind of show than we normally do. Ha ha ha. And we hope to see you guys next Wednesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Look at Pikachu taking a shower. That's one thing you have to do with pet birds, is actually give them showers to keep them healthy. Can you see yourself having a shower? And she loves her showers. She's so cute. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so very much for joining us today. And we hope to see you next time here at Once in a While. Please stay tuned to all of our social media and YouTube to find out what's happening next with us. And we can't wait to see you next time. Ha ha ha. So cute. Don't forget, the show is free, but there are tipping capabilities with Venmo, with Cash App, with PayPal, as well as our Amazon wish list, which can be found at onceinawild.com. So we'll see you guys next time here at Once in a Wild.
We are nothing close to ordinary, but we love to be your friend. Hold our hands and let's have fun together, singing as loud as you can. Everybody singing once in a while. Together. Once in a while. I wanna hear you say once in a while. Never fun for me and you.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you guys next time here at Once in a Wild. Catch you later. Bye.